I'm looking at the camera going, hey, you know what I didn't do? I didn't turn the lights on. So introduce yourself while I turn the lights on.
Hi, I'm John Gibson with Just Right, your IT department.
I'm Adam with AMS Computers, where we provide technology at its best.
So did everybody tech this weekend?
I did a bit.
Did you?
I did. I actually got some smart plugs, and because I had some other smart plugs that I won't name the name, but I guess they're outdated now, even though I bought them from the vendor or from the company that makes it. And anyway, I couldn't get them to work. I couldn't get the right kind of stuff, so I bought a couple new smart plugs, and I got some outdoor lighting set up and everything like that. I also set up some really cool LED lights on. It's kind of like it looks like a train, but it's more for like a bar.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, Adam, I want my house to be like Adam's house.
Yeah.
It's full lockdown electronic. I mean, you can't get in his house without him knowing it. His kids can't get out without him knowing it. He knows when they're on where they're supposed to be. I mean,
that's cool.
Adam's got it like tight. But me, I just got a dog and guns, and I figured for right now that'll work until I really have the gumption. I started walking around, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I started marking in the light switches and the outlets and stuff like that. Going, all right, so this one I want to put in. I want to put in the. I want to be able to put the light control and the fan control. And she says, "Who's going to do this?" Because there's a story back in the day that when we first got married, and I wanted to show my wife that I could really do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And all these. Oh, I'm a manly man, right? I wired in a simple outdoor light with a motion controller, right? Man, I put that thing in, and it looked beautiful. I'm like, I did a good job. We went out shopping that night, going, no one come. It was when we lived in Connecticut. No one, when we got back, it was going to be dark, and it was going to be awesome. We're going to pull in, the light's going to come on, and so we pulled in, and light didn't come on.
Right.
And she goes, "What's wrong with us?" I said, "Oh, maybe I have it turned off." She goes,
Yeah.
"Oh," because I'm thinking to myself, maybe I didn't turn the switch on, and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. When I walked into the house, the switch was on. She walked in the house, we shut the door, it came on.
All right.
I'm like, well, that's not good. So ever since then, she's like, you can't wire anything up.
Yeah,
You're not allowed. I can do low voltage. Low voltage, I'm the bomb with. But when it comes to 110, she's like, yeah, you can't touch that anymore. So it's kind of a running joke in the house.
That's on my honey-do list, is the motion sensor thing. But yeah, that hasn't happened yet. I'm still kind of new here, so just still getting all the little things done. And but my wife, she can say, hey Alexa, turn on the hot rollers, because she uses the hot rollers.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I want. I want a bit of. So
And we
here's,
have other things, of course, controlled by it.
I got the light bulbs that you can control with Alexa, right?
Yeah.
And we have this really. If you go, my house has a real high ceiling in the middle, in the main room. So I put those bulbs up there. The problem is you can't keep turning them on and off. And my kids or anybody would turn the switch off.
Oh.
And I'm like, you can't do this. So, and she goes, well, you got to tape it up. I said, I don't want some ugly piece of tape on there. So I had to put normal bulbs in there so people would stop. So now what I'm going to do is put a smart switch in and go when I walk in and say, Alexa, or turn on the lights, and then the lights come on.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about them turning them on. Because once you've done it too many times, they go into the stupid mode and you can't ever get them back.
Right. Yeah,
It's
I had some of the old stuff even back in the days of serial connections. So I've been doing smart home stuff for a while. But yeah, I'm curious to hear
Z-Wave.
what you guys have at your place.
I do Z-Wave
Okay.
devices. Like they have the locks, the front door locks.
Mm-hmm.
You get two options usually. Some manufacturers make them with Wi-Fi capable, then they make them Z-Wave. The only problem with the Wi-Fi is obviously you add more devices on your Wi-Fi network.
Slows you down.
Yeah.
Slows you down. You just get too much.
Not
too
as
many
secure
devices.
either. So.
Yeah, not as secure. Z-Wave, on the other hand, it's even lower powered. Batteries last longer. You don't have to change your batteries in your locks as much.
Right.
And they have a repeater function where every device is a repeater.
What?
So the more devices you add to your Z-Wave devices you make,
expand out.
you're expanding out, and it creates like a mesh network.
Interesting.
So where do we get the Z-Wave stuff?
Well, you just got to have a hub that communicates, and that's where the set.
What's
Okay,
the-
so that
Samsung
means if
Smart
your
things.
Wi-Fi goes down, you can still get in and out of your house.
Yeah, I mean you can. You
I
still have
freaking Spectrum,
control.
which 3 or 4 times a day. They just go. It just goes off. When it
I mean,
wants.
you'll have local control over your house.
Do you have
and stuff.
overrides if electricity shuts down? Do you have like a manual override or any kind of?
Oh yeah, just turn it on.
Oh, okay. So you still
Yeah,
have
it still has a lock on the backside and it still has a key.
Okay.
So I have
that's good.
I have
Yeah, that's
touchpad
cool.
capability and it
Can
rolls.
you find it on Amazon?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start. Well, that's going to be one of our first things that we sign up for. Area 52 Media Group is going to get his Amazon account, and we're going to do an affiliate.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Cool.
A
Definitely.
Z-Wave.
Z-Wave.
Yeah,
devices.
I've heard of it and I looked at it briefly. I haven't gotten into it that much.
I don't have any communication breakdowns. The devices just literally work. Especially
What's the range on a device?
You know,
Like,
it's
is it like Bluetooth, like 30 feet or so, or further?
I think it's further than that because, like for instance, because it starts creating a mesh. You really don't know because
Yeah,
I have my hub
they're all
downstairs and it's small little hub, and it's downstairs yet one side of the house, and then it controls my door lock just fine, and then I have sensors, open close sensors that also have temperature sensors in them.
Very cool.
And all most of my doors in the house. So like somebody opens the front door.
So they have motion, or not motion, but moisture sensors also?
No, they have temperature, but they do make moisture sensors too.
So that way you can even see if you got a flood starting from your water
You-
heater,
yes,
or
they-
maybe
yep.
if your plants outside
Yeah,
need
you can.
watering. Oh,
Yeah,
that's,
and the
that's
nice
awesome.
the nice thing about the particular hub that I use is it's cross-platform and open source, so
Nice.
you can access.
See, I'm going to
all-
look into it further now. That's,
Yes.
and they have apps for your phone, right?
Yes, they do have that.
So the Z-Wave hub connects to your router, and that
Yes.
way you can go in Wi-Fi. Now, if the Wi-Fi is down, you can't get into the Z-Wave, correct?
No, but the nice thing about it is it's cloud-based. There's a cloud-based function to it too.
Okay.
So between the cloud and then your home hub that's featured in there, you could still access the hub online if you have to get into
Okay.
it.
Well, we'll put that stuff out once we get our affiliate list, then we'll put it all in there as we'll advertise for that. That's awesome. All right, so I teched a little bit because I had Rowdy's game this weekend. Actually, we won,
Yay.
but that's probably the last home game unless all the other people that are ahead of us lose, and then maybe next week. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But good for them, man. They kicked butt. They didn't just win; they dominantly won, which was even better. So, gotta love that kind of stuff. Yep. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is this has been on my list for 2 weeks, and we've never gotten to it. So we're going to jump to it real quick because I am the video shaman, right? And so, if you have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, because you'll need it, right?
Which is what Adam has now, right?
Adam has it.
Yeah, all right.
See, it's kind of funny. If we show the back of mine and back of yours, I'm the 13 Pro Max. 14, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, you can't really tell the difference, especially when you have
but-
the case. But the cameras are slightly
A little bit better. Oh yeah, absolutely.
slightly taller.
In a heartbeat. I'm on the process. I think we have a video that we're going to show, and we're not going to talk over. We're just going to let it play, because the guy shot this video on the 14 Pro, and I want to show you how good it looks. Go ahead, Rob.
Chicago, Chef City.
It's a great morning in Chicago. It's going to be a great day around here.
Doors open on the left at Chicago.
So if you go into, if you, we'll put the link in the chat. But if you go in there and look, he filmed this with both ProRes and the cinematic mode. So he used both, right? But it was edited in Final Cut Pro 10 and graded with Dehancer Pro. So, you can do this and you can make an iPhone be absolutely phenomenal. I work with the Rowdies. All those guys they're TV guys.
Right.
So they all have full-time jobs, otherwise, 13, blah, 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 blah. And we were talking about this weekend going, it's amazing what you can do.
Yeah.
And even the depth of color, which typically when you shoot on a cell phone, or any cell phone, I don't care what it is, the depth of color is not there. So when you start getting it and you blow it up for big screen, like 1080, and if you like to put 4K, on a TV it will get grainy. You'll lose that depth. With this 14, he didn't lose any depth because we were paying it here full screen and it looked absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even though we were going over, we're converted
That was
and
impressive.
blah, blah, blah.
It looked very professional.
Yeah, it does. It does. Looks really nice.
And so, and you were asking about some of the shots where he popped around. Well, he uses the gimbal just like we have right there. That's how you do that. And some of those shots that he did, he was actually on he was filming the guy on the one wheel. Well, they're both cinematographers, so they were both filming on their iPhone 14. That's why you had that extra one where he saw the shot of the lenses. They were using each other, and so but that one wheel, he used that one wheel to film.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So some skill mixed in with an awesome.
yeah.
I'm just going to use mine to
cinematography
take
capability.
pictures. I'll just use.
Well, I don't know.
mine.
I like some of your TikToks. Those are
pictures.
pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Use your phone for that, dude.
The kids
Do it in
messing up.
cinematic mode.
Cinematic mode.
Cinematic mode. So when the person drops that laptop, slow it down and be like, boom, 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 boom. Oh no!
That's funny.
So yeah, but I wanted to get that in because it just shows the power of. It's showing the power of these. Bigger's not always better. Now, for a sporting event or big boy stuff like that, yeah, you know what? You want to have the big boy cameras. Yeah, but, I mean, they're shooting a movie right now with nothing but the iPhones. And they're mixing
Very cool.
13s and the 14s. So I'm curious to see when it comes out. And as soon as we can talk about what the movie is, we'll talk about the movie is because they're literally taking the phones, and that's all they're using is the phones. And you can here's what most people don't understand. You can take your phone and get beautiful. Barry was like, yeah, but the audio. I have a rig. Matter of fact, the microphones that we're using here, right, allow you to actually, we have a, what's that thing called, Rob, that we have it's a handheld audio thing. What? Zoom. We have a Zoom that takes in 6, well, it takes in 8. But it takes in 6, and it's handheld, and we just do 4, right? And you can individually record each microphone, as well as I use another a port that comes out of it that goes into the iPhone, so I have lip sync.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
So it's doing noise reduction and all that other stuff.
Yes, it's all built in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Impressive.
clean. Well, okay, when you're in the field filming, we don't worry about that part. The noise reduction can be done after the fact.
Okay.
You can go clean noise. I mean, as long as it's not blown out or super weak, I can get rid of clicks, pops, hums.
What about like wind and stuff like
Yep.
that when you're outside? Typically that's an
absolutely.
issue. Yeah.
And then of course, you always have one. We have one talk pole. We have one boom mic,
Right.
and that feeds into the system wirelessly. So my boom guy's not having to worry about audio. He's just literally working, and the audio operator is sitting there going, and he can adjust and he can, if he really needs to, get into the menu side and go, oh, let's just tweak that. You don't have to, but anyway. So yeah, well there you go. So you can do cool stuff with an iPhone. Who knew? We knew. But anyway, so moving on.
We're going to have to get Adam to show us some of the cool things you can do with it since he's got one now.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Adam, you gotta make some good TikToks for us.
I'm trying to continue to recover my stuff. It's great. The features for iPhones, like
Yep.
you upgrade to a new iPhone. It's great.
Yep.
You can sync from one device to the other device.
Sometimes.
It works flawlessly.
You mean iCloud
But
doesn't work perfectly?
No, it's not using iCloud.
Oh.
This is the thing. This is device
Okay.
linking and share and cloning. So basically, you both devices will the one device has to be same size or larger, the new one, in order to migrate your data over. And this is a local data migration. But the problem is you migrate your databases and everything over from the other phone. The app comes in, and the app turns stupid. See,
Interesting.
I will tell you that for a majority of the good companies that are out there that offer their development, a lot of times you can just click and go and everything's there and you just keep going.
Right.
Not Microsoft Authenticator app. No.
No.
Why would it just migrate over? I mean, you use so many security features to tell the phone that you are the owner of the phone, you are the owner of the account. You also had to go onto another device and authenticate
Right.
that
And approve it.
and approve it, yet they can't migrate everything over. So here I am, my Microsoft Authenticator app decided that a couple authentications that I didn't need to move over as well. So,
Sucks.
I do have an iCloud backup in there. I'm just going to have to go through their stupid way of trying to recover it and pull it back.
I thought that's the way you're supposed to do is through the iCloud.
Well, you
'Cause
can't
you
see.
tell
No,
it
no.
to
If you
iCloud
do
backup and
see,
then-
if you do iCloud backup, okay, it doesn't grab like all the databases and stuff like that. I do a one-to-one sync locally.
Right.
I'll
Through
sign
iTunes
into
still?
Huh?
You using iTunes?
No.
Oh,
It-
okay.
They do. So basically, you get your new phone, you turn it on, okay, and you start going through the setup. You hit
Right.
You hit English, and the minute you do that, it says your old phone says, "Hey, you want to set up this phone with sync your stuff from this phone to that phone?" Well, of course I do.
Yes, I do.
So then you get the little squiggly, and then over here, camera comes up, and you take a picture of it, so that way the two can communicate. They Bluetooth connect, and then the Wi-Fi signal and settings and everything, all your network settings will move over to this phone. The two of them will join the network, and then the sync will happen. This one will go through the process. If it's not up to date all the way, it'll finish doing software updates and everything, and continue on. And everything will sync from this device to that device, and any apps that are in the App Store that you haven't downloaded for a while will come back into the phone, and everything will be there, and nothing's missing for the most part.
Right.
There's a few apps and a few companies that just, I don't know, I don't think they work hand in hand with Apple very well,
Right.
and things don't go over. But for the most part, everything happens fine, except for the Microsoft Authenticator app. Thank you, Microsoft. I should be able to literally sign into my Microsoft account and boom, have them come right
Why
back
doesn't
up.
Apple do an Apple Authenticator? It does.
It
It's
does.
Good. It's
It
called
is.
the
It
other,
is.
It's the
It
other
is.
thing that says yes.
It's the other thing. Yes.
If you don't have it though, you're kind of screwed, aren't you?
hit the password that just showed up on your iPad. Shit, my iPad's
Right.
my iPad's across town.
Yeah, you need another.
You call somebody,
Apple
hey,
device,
can you,
right?
you go in there and hit OK? Hurry, because it's going to time out. I watched a young lady at the tax office trying to do something with her phone. And all of a sudden it went, oh, I need out, it needs authentication. So she's calling her boyfriend or whatever he is at home. Go over to the iPad real quick and you got to hit this and say yes because of blah, blah, blah. What's the code? And oh my God, what a nightmare. I'm like, yeah, that's
Right.
kind of crazy. That is crazy.
Well, thankfully, in the case of Apple, they have a management platform if you have an Apple or if you're using Apples in your business where you can take care of everything from within that Apple management platform, which is kind of nice. But yeah, for the individual users and
Pain
consumers, you
in the
don't
ass.
have that.
But so speaking of TikTok,
Yeah.
right? Let's talk about TikTok because TikTok has become a now all of a sudden we're back on the government radio. So TikTok national security concerns resurface. What you need to know. Well, I got news for you. If you're on TikTok, it's too late.
Yep.
Period. If you put TikTok and you go to TikTok if you go to their website on your PC, it's too late.
Correct.
It's already.
If you have it on your phone, if you have it on your device, then the sensors the microphone, all the different things that are on your device, data can be collected.
Yep.
And this is something that was warned about early on. And
We preached about it.
and it's still out there.
There was two things. First off, there's two things that happen, because I just read about another one. There's two things TikTok does. One was ask about why does it need to read about information about devices across your network, number one, which I guess by default, though, if you're going to AirPlay it from your phone and stuff like that, then of course it might need the information across the network. So there could be a twofold thing happening there, or TikTok just wants to know what server you got running back there in the background. And the other thing is, when you set up an account, they've been scraping people's search history and web browsing history on their devices the minute you sign up an account, which is really odd. Like, why do you want to know, is it to send the videos, or, maybe we need to target you?
Yeah, they are
Well, they
definitely
targeting.
don't know.
They're definitely intentionally databasing a lot of information
Right.
about anybody that gets on their platform, and in a variety of ways, like you're saying, even down to the network access level. If you have a device on your network, even it's potentially recording information about even your network activity. So that's why it's concern for us here, and the team that's going after them from the United States government. Surprisingly, only from the Republican side, they're citing concerns of privacy and things like that, which I think is right. And do we really want the People's Republic of China, the government of the PRC anyway, do we want them really databasing all this information about
They've already
us?
got it.
Well, they've been collecting for many, many years.
They've already got it. The sad thing is, if you've got anything that was built, if you have anything electronic that's built in China, they've had backdoors forever. The minute
Yep.
you turn your iPhone on, guess what?
While we're on this subject of,
Yeah, man.
you said China.
China.
We talked about hardware. Did you read an article this week on Mexico deciding that they are going to purchase Chinese devices, security devices, for cross-border tracking of, obviously you got to
Right.
scan your passport to
Right.
come in and out,
Yeah.
and to track also hardware to track shipments going across the border, and it's being all supplied by a Chinese firm, and the U.S. government's like, whoa, that's kind of like a big security risk, and Mexico's like, well, we understand, but hey, it's cheap, and here we go.
So here's the thing. We're gonna bunny trail real quick, and I'm sorry we're really burning up time here, but here lately, it seems like America is really good about other countries going, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not you. We won't allow. It's not our business what Mexico buys.
Yep.
It
Right.
really isn't. It's not our business to sit there and tell a country, well, you can't do this, because we at one point in time we were known as the police of the world, right? We're the
Right.
ones who are going to, but it doesn't matter. It's none of our business. And I think it's pretty high and mighty of us to tell other countries what they can and can't do. You know what I'm saying? When
Well,
we can't keep our own house.
They're
in order.
they're taking border security a little more serious than we are, and they're going to have the same capabilities of, like, it's also in North Korea, right, where they
Right.
have facial recognition. They're going to know what their people are doing all the time, every moment of the day, or at least wherever they have cameras and smartphones and things like that in play. So that's the other thing, geolocating and all that with the phones plus the video and all that.
Yeah.
That's going to give them a much better capability to track their people, which seems to be the real intent here.
As long as it's not Americans going across that they're going to track. Which, wait a minute, they're going into Mexico.
Did you know that?
Yes,
Did you know
it's-
that Mexicans are complaining about all the people from the United States going down into Mexico, fleeing California in particular?
Right.
They're saying, we're tired of all these Americans down here. You need to take them back.
Well, the reason is they're going in and buying property.
Yeah. Well,
It's becoming Americanized to buy property.
there's only certain areas in Mexico where an American can actually buy it,
Right.
unless they have dual citizenship. Because
Right.
otherwise, and then it's only a
or they go
99
marry
year.
or they go marry a
Right.
Mexican citizen.
Because it's only a 99-year land lease
Right.
if they are allowed to buy, it's not really a buy. And the government at any time can take it back. Mexican government.
And there's a
that is.
lot of guys up here that can't get no dates, so might as well go to Mexico and get some dates. They may not be pretty dates, but they're dates. Just saying. Oh, was that very insensitive of me? It probably was. I'm probably
Maybe.
gonna
My
get-
wife's
I'm-
from Mexico City, so, and if you
And
saw
she's
her.
pretty.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, you married up. Just saying. Good for you, baby.
Yeah.
But it's not
So-
always like that. So anyway, so jumping in. So we're all Mac guys. Well, except for me, I got a PC. But I do have Macs.
I do both.
Rob has a Mac, and
I'm running Windows on my Mac.
I'm running Android on my phone. I've got a MacBook here, and I've got a Surface at home too. So,
I have Mac OS and Windows 10 running side by side.
Okay, so there you go. So
well,
Zoom.
we're in tech. You got to have all, right?
Yeah, you got to be able to utilize what you have.
Exactly. So we run both in this world. Okay, so Zoom, their new patch screwed up Macs. Their little secure thing. I haven't switched image yet. I am such a bad guy. Here we go. The patch messed everything up, and it was horrible for people trying to use Zoom, and it was a bad security patch. So not good
No.
at all.
No. And-
I wondered why last week we had a couple of Zooms coming in, and I was on actually a couple of Zoom meetings. But I hate Zoom. I love Zoom for what we use it for, but I hate Zoom overall. I don't do the Zoom meetings unless they have to pretty much either threaten me or beg me, because it's like, no, I don't want to. But I had a lot of people last week who were like, yeah, I can't. There's something wrong with my Zoom. Sometimes it would either camera wouldn't work or the audio wouldn't work or both. And then they'd have to call in on their phone and then do it. And then, so hopefully, I think they're supposed to be fixing it. Either they fixed it the end of the week, or they're fixing it the beginning of this week. So yeah, so if you had a problem with Zoom last week, yeah, that's why.
Well, the other good thing about this story is that, a lot of folks just assume that Macs are more secure than a PC, and that might be true, but the real issue is that anything is truly, can be vulnerable if, like we talked about a couple times already, like if you call somebody or they call you and you start doing what they say, you've just bypassed all security. So, but I like this story just from the standpoint of, here's an Apple flaw, you could say, that needs to be taken care of, and it's just a reminder that not everything is secure. So
Right. I thought we had that. I thought you put that in the list to talk about.
I thought we did too, and I don't see it.
It's not
It's
on
number
there.
2. It's supposed to be.
We can talk about. Let's talk about it real quick. Let's leave the Apple logo up. So it's really, Macs are not as secure as we would like them to be. They're more secure.
Well, you got to understand too. They're only as secure as the third-party apps that they also support.
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's the whole premise of why there's two reasons. The reason why their app store is so locked down, they check and recheck everything that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they also purchase those companies and integrate them into their operating system, but that's besides the
Well,
point.
see that's the hope and dream, right? The hope and dream of all app developers.
Oh, yes.
Is to put your app on there, and it does so well that Apple goes, hey, you know what? We're just going to buy you now,
Right. Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
we'll take over, and
Yeah.
you walk away with a couple $1 million, which
Especially if you develop something that's proprietary.
right.
In the way something functions,
Right.
and then they say, this is really cool. We didn't really think of it,
Right.
and it's cheaper than the R&D and everything trying to figure it out.
Right.
When somebody has a platform already
Yep.
working and we just integrate it in, and that's why they always build their framework for development framework, because that makes that part of it so much easier for them to just say, well, this is going to work perfect in our operating system, and we already have the code and everything laid out. It's just 1, 2, and we add a couple links, and we're good to go.
right. Right.
Right.
So, but I mean, Mac apples, we're a closed loop, supposedly, and the only kink in the armor is the apps.
And there are occasional security vulnerabilities in their operating system. And the important thing to take note of here, just like with this case of Zoom, is that when the app developer or the operating system says, hey, we've got a patch or an update, it's important to get those in as soon as possible, because the hackers and bad actors out there are counting on you delaying that install of that update, which makes you vulnerable, which makes you a victim, or a target at least, and potential victim. So it's important to apply those updates when you hear about them.
They even go as far as their operating systems. They install security certificates in the operating system installers.
Right.
So once you
really
install
smart.
an operating system and it's out of a certain date range, that security certificate expires, you can like start a Mac on it and say, for instance, you have a USB installer and you get ready to install Mac OS and you're trying to restore your machine, and even the internet recovery ones, the same thing. When it goes into the process, but it's past a certain date and time, it fails, because it's like, well, no, you're 20 years out. We can't let you.
Yeah.
Years out.
Now, it used to be
You've
that
been looking at my apples.
it used to be that we'd look at that and go, oh, they just want to get more money. Well, no, their OS is free now.
Yeah, their OS is free.
You're not renting it like Microsoft?
It's really easy to use command and change the time and date on your Mac and go ahead
Yeah.
and install it. But that's besides the point. We can get you
Until it
taken
checks
care of.
in online. And then
Oh no, it'll check in. It'll
Oh,
check in.
wow.
But then you can go ahead and use it to go ahead and now upgrade your
To the,
operating
latest.
systems
So
later
you
on.
no longer have to sit there and like I remember Mojave came out, and then Navajo or whatever the other name
Navajo.
was, whatever it is. That's were big deals, and you were paying for the upgrades.
Yeah,
So
no.
now it's like, no, just take the OS. It's all good.
No, they're again, Apple. And this is the thing about Apple. Apple products all along the line. They're a hardware company. Okay, they make their money now. Obviously, the subscription thing, they're learning they can make good money on that. But in the long run, they're a hardware company. They don't make money if you're not buying hardware.
Right.
And that's why they got that 5-year thing going on. If everybody's rolling in, and the recycling program, which is great because they can recycle those devices and bring them back as newer ones. But they can only make money by developing and making another device. So
Got it.
that's
Right.
and they're not. Now, back in the day, Windows, Microsoft wants to be on everything.
Yeah,
They need to be on everything because
Yeah.
that's their platform.
right.
They make money off software, and that was the big thing. Like with Windows 11 come out, and they said, no, you can't install me unless you're on a 7th or 8th gen processor. You can't install me unless you have trusted computing enclave in your
Right,
machine.
TPM,
You can't
yeah.
do this. You can't do that. Which was really odd because that's not something normal that Microsoft ever did. Microsoft said, "Oh, you want Windows 11? No problem. Your Pentium 4, 128 gigs or 128 megs of RAM could run it just fine." And that was the deal back in the day. But now Windows 11 is like, no, thank you, no, sorry, thank you, no, we can't do
No,
nothing.
don't do it. Don't do it.
And I think they're reversing course because they've even said, they've realized there's still a lot of older devices out there.
Well, they reversed course. They said there would only be a Windows 10 and no other iteration of Windows.
Yes, there was.
And that was
never-
only a couple years ago, and here we are. Windows 11's out and has been for a while now. But yeah, they actually even stopped and made the OS department of Microsoft much smaller under the same umbrella as applications like
Yeah.
M365, Microsoft 365. So they were supposedly going to stay just with Windows 10 forever, kind of like
Because
Apple is OS 10, and then you just have
don't
different.
forget, it's going to be
Right.
Windows as a service soon.
Well, speaking of
Yes.
Microsoft, I love the big triangle. Right.
This is not as bad as the way they responded.
Right. Microsoft leaked 2.4 terabytes of data
Yeah.
belonging to a sensitive customer. Critics are furious. Yeah.
Well,
That's
yes.
not good.
You frequently hear about Microsoft never being breached and things like that. So, this is just, kind of like a poke in the eye. Oh, here you
Well,
go.
I like their response. We accidentally moved it into an area that's, for public use, and they just accidentally put it in the wrong
accidentally did it.
folder. That's all they
Yeah.
did. We weren't breached. It was in the wrong folder for public view. It was so much so that Google indexed it.
What?
Yes, Google indexed this data. So
Yeah.
there's indexes related to the data out there in the wild, hey, social security number for,
Yeah,
EIN
about
for-
65,000.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. I mean, when Google
Well,
indexes, they set it up.
65,000 is a tiny little drop in the bucket of all the ones that are out there, but
Right.
that's still that's yeah.
And the thing is it's not that as bad as the fact that, when they're coming back and asking, what information was leaked, and all Microsoft says, we ain't answering that. They and they're
Plead the
acting.
fifth.
Yeah, they're acting like, it's not a big deal, and yeah, that stuff's out there, so what? And what was it? GDRP, is that what it is? Or
From Europe?
From
Yeah.
Europe, yeah. Is this a violation of that protocol?
Absolutely.
It is. Everybody in the IT field knows it is.
Every single state has what's called a privacy act also, or California started with one, and every single state followed suit after that.
And Microsoft says no.
Yeah.
And they literally said, no, this is not a violation.
Well, it
This is-
absolutely is. All you have to
Yeah.
have is 2 pieces of personally identifiable information get leaked
Exactly.
out, and it's considered to be an incident. And
Oh, I
depending
didn't
on
know
what
that.
level it
Right.
is, what level of that incident
Right.
before they call it a breach. But yeah, you have cyber attacks that are categorized either as a breach or an incident. So
Dang. Oh.
yeah.
Well, speaking of Microsoft, we're going to jump down to number 5. So someone wrote a JavaScript
Yes.
to me, and who did you put this in?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I mean, so
This
I
is
can
cool.
now I can run Windows
Windows
95 again.
95.
I mean, that's cool though. I mean, think about it. When you, I mean, they
That was
kids,
plug and pray though. How is that cool?
Huh?
Plug and pray. It wasn't plug and play. It was plug and
Well,
pray.
you
back
know,
in those
hey,
days.
but the thing is the mere fact that a whole operating system, even if it's small,
Yeah.
is able to run in a Java app.
Yeah.
I mean, look at some of the things that these young kids are doing, like in Minecraft, for instance, building complex, programming in
Yeah, they could probably have just like a little instance of Windows 95 running within their.
because it's
Yeah,
Minecraft was Java
Well,
anyways.
You know, it makes it easy also because of Windows 95. It didn't have segmented memory.
Yeah.
Everything was running common memory. That's why you had to always reboot the operating
Yeah.
system every 2 days, at least, if not every day. You'd have to reboot Windows 95. So yeah, that's because it's so simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see.
But
it.
I mean, just
That would be fun to see if a kid could. Maybe we should make that a challenge out there. Hey, if
Right.
you can get Windows 95 running within.
They
Yeah.
and they should be able to, because the original Minecraft was a Java based app anyways.
Yeah.
So could you imagine just dump that little app
Yeah, just have a
within,
little screen running with it.
put it in a little container running inside, and you got a little computer. You're like,
Oh,
or
that'd be cool.
they build it on a gigantic virtual wall, and you're in Minecraft playing with your
Yep.
95.
So let us know if you do that because we want to see it.
And we want Doom to be running on it, please.
Yes,
Doom.
Doom,
Oh
that
my
would be
God,
cool.
yes.
Come on, do
That would be
it.
cool.
Do it.
So we're going to jump down to number 7 there, boss man, back in the back. New Mac Pro and Mac Mini with M2 Pro chips likely to launch in November.
Gosh, we're like, what, next week?
Wait,
Already in November.
we're talking about that, but didn't they just announce that on is it today? Today or tomorrow? I think it's today.
It's today.
Yeah, today.
The iPad Pro with the M2 release is
Right.
the same chip that they're putting in these devices. Is it now in an iPad too? I mean,
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And I don't know if you've looked at these chips, but they kind of blow away the Intel. It's pretty incredible. The M1, I mean, that's what I got in mind right here. It's
Right.
phenomenal. Great processor.
So
So they're going away from Intel again,
Completely.
back to,
we're going back to Power Macs.
yeah.
I remember the day that I had to buy my third editing machine, and I couldn't get the Power machine. I had to go to the Intel. I'm like, Mac has just ruined itself. I'm sorry. I've never liked. Every Mac that I've owned that has the Intel in it is just crap. It doesn't think
Yeah.
like a Mac anymore.
Right. Well, they had
okay.
reduced instruction set
It's okay.
type processors, which kind of like ganged up all these things, and they were so good. I never understood why they went away from the Motorola chips.
I don't know
but,
either,
you
but,
they're going back to doing what
well,
they did before, which is good to
Exactly.
see.
Well, and
they're going the way of Henry Ford.
and it all started with the iPhone,
Yeah.
because that's where the chip started.
Yeah.
They were testing the chips out in the phones to make sure they would work. And, you know, when you get to the point where your iPhone is more powerful than your Mac laptop with an Intel chip in it, you're like, okay. Okay.
Well, you know what? They're also building the operating system down towards iOS.
Right.
There's a convergence happening.
Right. Well, they
This-
had experience with that before with their RISC processors, so it's the same kind of mindset, I believe. So
And I mean, it's nice to
they're
see.
returning to the roots. In other
Yeah,
words.
exactly. And you know, it's nice to see that you can, start launching your apps, from your iPhone on your Mac in your Mac OS, and it's starting to all slowly come together.
Yeah.
Just sucks that your Intel Macs and I might soon be obsolete, and you're running everything in a container.
Yeah.
But hey,
Right.
it's gonna work
That
one
is
day.
one thing that's always been really cool about the Mac OS and devices is the ability to just go between your devices so easily. That is nice. I mean,
Yes.
that is a nice capability.
Anytime I go and do a presentation somewhere now, I love the fact that, especially if I'm in control, is I'll bring my own Wi-Fi. I'll bring my brand new Apple 4K Apple TV, hook it to the back of my TV. It's because I've already got a spot back there for it'll hold it, and then I can control everything on my phone.
Yeah,
The
that's
thing
nice.
is,
Done.
even though Windows can
PowerPoint,
do
the
this
whole
stuff,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah, it's not as seamless.
yes, and that's the problem. It's too clunky in Microsoft. Okay,
Remember
people
that-
don't have you want to stream something and it just connection failed. You
Yep.
can't do that. Everything Apple, everything works together and it works seamlessly.
Yeah.
I-
Remember that commercial? I love that commercial with you had the Mac guy who was the cool young
Yep.
guy, and then you had the old guy with the glasses and kind of frumpy looking and a little chubby and everything. And they did that spot where they were talking about making videos on a
Yes.
Mac versus a PC.
Yep.
And you got this gorgeous blonde here that is, just absolutely gorgeous. And then he comes out with a wig on and
Yes.
he's got his beard still there. And he's like, that's kind of like what we're talking about, right? It's like the PC guy is like, that's what you made? Okay. Compared to, I'd love to see that again. That was such a good commercial.
Well,
but yeah, it's
now
kind of
they
like
can.
that.
They can go back to the old commercials because the Macs are starting to outperform
Yeah.
once again the PCs. Now, does that mean that I'm going to run out tomorrow and get another Mac for the studio? No. Unfortunately, the software we use to do this show and other shows is PC based.
Yeah.
And you can't run it in was it Campground or whatever the heck the emulator is on. It's the fact that the software or the hardware internally cannot read correctly. So
Right. Well, at some point, we're going to get to where it doesn't matter if you have a Mac or an Android phone or iPhone or a MacBook or a Windows desktop. They're all going to be really doing everything from the cloud, so it's not going to be platform specific.
not in our
And
world.
it's
Our
it
world
may
will always stay
eventually.
hardware.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so the only positives. No, actually, I can't even because I can't run. I can run I can run a PC emulator and run our software as long as I'm having one single input. Like we have these ATEM minis that can take 4 inputs or 8 inputs, and that can go in there because that means that this machine, the Mac, is only taking one source at a time because we're giving it which camera we want.
Right.
But to have it where I sit inside, where there's a board inside that takes 4 inputs simultaneously, Macs are like, no, we don't want to do that. We're not going to do that. They don't do that. They just don't. You can't go and buy an input, a video input that the Mac will go. Well, Mac will go, yeah, I'll run it, but one at a time.
I don't want to.
It's like, stop being a little bitch. Just do what I ask you to do. No. So,
So
I don't
just
know.
grab some Intel based.
So we're going to
machines
jump
and
over
pop it
to,
in.
now we're going to get in your world.
All right.
Blackbyte. Ransomware uses new data to left tool for double extortion. I don't. This you
Double
had to put this in
extortion, double the fun.
Yeah, I think
Right.
Adam put this one in, but
Oh.
Did I?
Did you?
I believe so. The new data theft tool for double extortion.
No, I don't think so.
there. Cool graphic.
Yeah.
Nice graphic, guys. Appreciate it.
No, I didn't do that one.
Yeah, they're talking about extracting or exfilling data. I mean, one of the things that started happening in January 2020, I know we mentioned this in one of the other shows, is that it used to be if you got ransomware, it would just encrypt your data and they'd say, okay, pay us if you want to get your data back. Well, if
Right.
you had good backups, you could, or if you had another source for the data, you could possibly go without having to pay that ransom.
Right.
Then in January of 2020, the bad actors started extracting the data and then basically threatening to also provide or put that out there on the dark web or put it up for sale. And of course, anybody that had electronic healthcare information or any kind of sensitive data, again, if you have any 2 bits of personally identifiable information, that could be cause for a lawsuit based on privacy, loss of privacy data. So that would be one aspect of this, and you know, they can extort you. Now, one of the things about whenever there's ransomware involved, there's only a 50-50 chance you're going to get your data back. So you're going to be paying somebody to get your data back, and they may not pay you. I mean, they may not give it back to you.
God, those are just awful people.
So basically, we have to know that we're working with an ethical.
Right, and the other part of this is that they're buying this from the big hacking groups, right? Because these are turnkey businesses that we mentioned before, where you got people that just go on the dark web and buy a turnkey business to make ransomware, and all they have to do is put in their their cryptocurrency key or whatever, and they're in business, with the understanding that they're going to be working with that parent company that provided them with that actual malware, that ransomware, and they're going to help them with that whole thing, right? And the problem is that it's a 50-50 ordeal, and a lot of those companies that get ransomware are attacked again and again and again.
Oh yeah, pay one time,
we
and
got a
you
live
lift
one
your-
here, guys, and that community shares with all the other bad actors out there.
It's exactly like when we discussed about people answering the phone and going on and allowing somebody in. Once you've done it once, that's a live phone number. They're gonna keep,
the only thing you do is change the phone number, change
it.
the email address, because that's the only way you're not going to get additional attacks over and over again.
Exactly. You can block the numbers all day long. It's not gonna. They'll just keep. That's why the FCC told the telecoms, look, if you guys keep selling these batch numbers to these nefarious entities and stuff like that, and allowing this to continue to happen, we're not just going to go after them. We're suing you too. So same thing with the robocalls and the constant fake numbers being auto-generated, VoIP numbers and stuff like that for local codes, city codes and stuff. It gets ridiculous. You can't even tell who you're talking to anymore.
Right.
You don't even know if you're going to answer your phone, because 9 times out of 10 your cell phone's being saying, bad actor.
Bad actor.
Should I answer it? Is it a customer?
I just answer it. Rob does all the time.
Oh yeah, well,
He yells at him like he yells. I start yelling at him.
The problem is
we yell at these people.
We shouldn't have to be dealing with this.
No, I know.
It's just
Right.
Certain things just need to stop.
There's this one kid on I don't know what social media platform I saw him on, but he goes in and he answers it, and he'll answer really softly, and they'll go, "How'd you get this number?" And they'll go, "Well, it's blah blah blah." "Well, you've called Area 51 tech support, and I'm not sure how you got this phone number. So I need to actually sit and talk with you for a minute. I've got another person going to come on the line, because we got to find out how you got this phone number." He goes deep, and next thing you know, it was a chick that called in. She was freaking the hell out. She goes, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And he's like, "Well, how did you get this number?" So we really want to know how you got this number, because you shouldn't be able to have. Matter of fact, you had to go to dark web to even potentially find this phone number anyway. So what's your name, and where do you work, and what's the address? Because we're actually going to have to send somebody out to talk to you and see how. Oh my God, dude, she hangs up.
I can imagine you scared her.
I'm like, that is freaking awesome. I want to do that every time. "Hi, Area 52, can I help you?"
Yeah.
And then they go, "What?" He's, "I'm not lying. Area 52, can I help you? How'd you get this number?" So anyway, so next thing we're going to talk about is I don't know if I have an image for this. I do not have an image for this. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to leave that up there. How small and I put this in here. How small and mid-sized businesses can take advantage of text to image AI, which is, to me, it's kind of cool. Right? This is, in our world, it's
So how does that work? Texting?
Yeah, I was gonna
So you go to these AI softwares that are online, and you actually put your text in there, and they will literally build you the background, an image. And
Oh, so
editors,
okay.
editors, and you can find them online. So you can go in there and say, hey, I want to, we don't have it, but damn it, it sucks. I didn't put an image in there. That's my bad. You can literally tell it, you say you want to do a image of, I need a plate of sushi, right? It will literally build you a plate of sushi, right? Or if you're like, or you're built, or you say like, okay, I'm doing an ad and I need the Southwest
Right.
with the clouds and that kind of stuff, or mesas. It will literally it will go pull from the internet and build you a background look, which to me, for us, my world, that's awesome. Because a lot of times I don't want to go. If I go take an image off of Google, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't want to sit there and pay all these other people, that have stock footage. But again, I'm using something from somebody else. And what it builds you has never been seen before.
Oh,
Right.
cool. So there's also a really cool 3D avatar, Movio.ia.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There you can
Build a dude.
Yeah, you can
Or
a
female,
person
whatever. Dude or dudette.
of your choice. You can choose how they look, and you can type in what you want that person to say. And if you're not comfortable on camera yourself, you can put them to work for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we have a couple of softwares here that we use that I can actually type it out, and I've learned to type it out phonetically,
Right.
and I can get voiceovers done for $5.
Yeah, and that's
voice you've never
that's
heard
the thing that's
before.
really cool about this is it's
Yep.
very low cost, and you can have anything. So if you want to do a whole video, even you could,
Yeah,
have it all narrated by this
that is
AI,
correct. Yep.
which is really interesting.
And there's actually a couple that I've seen through the social media platforms, and you listen to it, and you're like, and when it gets done, it goes, oh, I was AI, I've been artificially created, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking to myself, damn,
Have you
I could not tell the difference.
Have you seen the stuff from Google where they have their voice where it answers the phone, and the people will interact with it thinking they're
Yes.
talking to a real
Yes.
person,
Yeah.
and it's hard to tell. I mean, anymore, deepfake stuff is so good. So
Yeah. So, speaking of deepfake, we're going to Netflix. Anyway. So Netflix, you can no longer, let me go back to that article real quick, no longer allow you to share passwords for free. So now they're going to start charging you.
yeah,
I think it's up to 3. You can have 3 simultaneous views. If not, and if somebody else goes in, it'll knock one of the 3 out. Or you can pay for the extra a month to let people share. But if you're going to do that, people should just go ahead and buy their own. I'm not going to sit and pay for everybody's Netflix.
Right.
Back in the day, I'll let my kids and stuff like that. But now they all have their own. So I'm like, I'm good.
well, they lost a huge number of subscribers just in the past year because of some of the stuff that was happening. So that's probably a discussion for another time.
That's
but
a show unto itself.
It is, and so you could almost say rightfully so they lost, and I get it. They need to be profitable to stay in business, so
Right.
they have to do some things, and that's probably where some of this is coming from.
Right.
So I know we don't have time for the top 15 mobile device securities of all best practice, but we can do some of it until we
Yeah.
run out of time.
And we
I
can make
jumped over
that link
one.
available to folks if they want to
Absolutely.
see, what are some things you can do to keep your mobile device secure, because, on the
Well, I'll let you
15
take it over,
ways,
brother.
on the 15 ways, there's a lot there, and,
We have paper.
yeah, so
Paper.
you can download that link, but there's a whole host of things, like some of the things that we probably all do is we try to use two-factor authentication as much
Yep.
as we can, or
I
multi-factor
do now.
authentication.
Since the last couple of weeks, now you guys have literally talked me into doing it.
Back up your 2FA.
Yeah. Trying to find my little sheet.
I just got
here.
into mine, by the way.
That's not
Did you?
it.
Yes.
Oh, and then I started using, what was it you guys said start using? I started using Password Boss.
Oh, Password Boss, good. Yeah.
I like
did
it.
you see some of the things that are in there?
It is.
It actually does a dark web scan for you. If your email address was involved in any breaches,
Yep.
it'll let you see
It-
where they
and
were
it-
involved.
mine was.
And you want to make sure you change those passwords, of course. And,
I actually deleted the accounts. It was just
some of
easier.
the things from passwords and why you want to change them. get this. This is data that's just recent. The 24 billion users, along with that COMB, that's the combined online. Oh gosh, I can't remember what COMB stands for. But anyways, there was a couple of hacks that happened recently, like the one from Oldsmar, the water treatment plant.
The water treatment plant.
They had just the week before there was a breach that involved that used that COMB database they found, and there was a security firm that actually went in and looked, and they said, sure enough, it was data that was right on that COMB database. Well, there's this Big Daddy one that's 24 billion. That one was only like about 3.5 billion users, but 24 billion users, credential sets are out there on the dark web available, and guess what? 49 out of 50 credential sets were.
And we got to go.
Oh, wow.
So we'll put these links in the show notes below. We'll see everybody next week. Have a techie week. Bye.